Good morning, everybody. I'll be talking on keratoplasties in keratoconus, the last resort to get vision in keratoconus patients. I have no financial disclosures to make. If we talk about the challenges for keratoplasty in keratoconus cases, the most challenging situation is the natural clear lens, the presence of astigmatism, the need of early recovery because most of the patients are young, the high expectation from the patient side, and the cosmetic appearance. If we talk about the options of keratoplasty, we have manual keratoplasty, in which penetrating keratoplasty and deep anti-lamellar keratoplasty is there, and the other option is femtosecond enabled keratoplasty. About deep anti-lamellar keratoplasty, Dr. Dodd will talk. I will be covering manual and femtosecond enabled keratoplasty. So, coming to the penetrating keratoplasty. So first of all, we have to mark the size of the cone, and then we have to locate the center of the cone. Then we have to make the side port and inject the visco. After marking the center and everything, we have to do the trephination of the diseased cornea. Then with the help of cornel scissors, left and right, we remove the diseased button. And in the keratoconus patient, we have to take the graft size equal to the recipient because we need the flattening effect of the graft. I generally used to put the interrupted sutures. I put 16 sutures in this case, and the knots are buried after that. Leak should be checked at the end. So, coming to the femtosecond lasers. Femtosecond laser in ophthalmology has made its marks in various specialties like femtocataract, femtoLASIK, femtoIntacs, and now femtokeratoplasty. So, why femtosecond laser is helpful? Because it permits full thickness graft with a peripheral lamellar wound configuration in keratoplasty. It has the ability to perform incision at any angles at various depths within the corneal tissue. It increases the surface area for wound healing. Femtosecond laser has a greater precision, finite control, and it works in an automated manner. There is a minimal donor tissue manipulation, so there is a less endothelial cell loss. If we talk about the principle of femtosecond laser, it is based on photodisruption principle. The various laser pulses are stacked together to create a resection plane. Similar pulses can be stacked vertically also to give a vertical plane. So there are many platforms available in the market who has the feature of femtosecond keratoplasty like Intralase from Abbott Medical Optics, Wavelight from Alcon, Visumax from Carl Zeiss, Victus from Bausch & Lomb, and Zimmer from Heidelberg. So the extra edge of the femtosecond laser is that a manual PK wound is usually vertical, but in case of femtosecond, it has a variation from this type of wound construction is possible. We can make the top head configuration mushroom shape, zigzag, Christmas tree, or any desired configuration that we want. But it's difficult to choose that which kind of incision is best for which kind of surgery. So if we talk about top head shape, the advantage of top head shape is that it removes less stromal tissue and more of abnormal endothelial tissue. So it is helpful in cases of pseudophakic bullous keratopathy. But if we talk about keratoconus, in which the main problem is stromal tissue, so we go for mushroom shape because it removes more of the stromal tissue and save more of endothelial tissue. Whereas zigzag shape can be tried in any disease because it provides excellent and a smooth transition and good wound seal. So femtosecond laser cuts the tissue in three planes. First cut is a posterior side cut. There is a cylindrical cut from the anterior chamber into the stroma. Then it makes a plain ring lamellar cut in the cornea. Then the last it cuts anteriorly. So these are the three cuts that femtosecond make. So coming to the laser setting for donor and recipient is same in cases of keratoconus, mushroom shape. The ledge of around 1.5 millimeter is better because it holds the donor tissue adequately. So this is a video showing mushroom-shaped IEK. So first of all, we have to feed the settings in the machine, and on the NTH chamber we mount the donor tissue, and after laser, donor tissue is lifted with the help of forceps. Then on the patient, the same settings are used. After docking, laser starts cutting. The whole procedure takes just 2 to 5 minutes for both recipient and donor. And we simply have to lift and start suturing. So about the suturing part, I prefer 16 sutures, but 12 sutures are also adequate in cases of femtosecond keratoplasty, and in some cases we have tried 8 sutures with fibrin adhesive along the junction. So this was the 90-year-old female of advanced keratoconus with the best corrected vision of 660. We did the femtosecond keratoplasty for this girl, and after 1 month post-op, the best corrected vision was 6.9 with minus 2.5 diopter cylinder. This is a 1-year result published in IGO, in which they have operated around 35 eyes, and we can see the spherical equivalent decreased from 7.38 to 2.23 on the end of first month, which remains constant over the year. This is a 3-month post-op AS OCT of the same patient. We can see the nicely attached grafted host junctions. So if we talk about the advantages of femtosecond keratoplasty, an exact match between the donor and host is possible in femtosecond keratoplasty. It has an exaggerated healing process and fibrosis at the incision site, perhaps as a result by the stimulation of the laser. It has a better wound integrity, less surgically induced colon stigmatism, and it has a lesser manipulation of colon tissues intraoperatively. In conclusion, femtosecond keratoplasty is a safer option. It produces precise trephination cuts of superior wound strength and the stability to that of manual trephination. It provides early visual rehabilitation and faster topographic stabilization. Thank you.